Boom.
Hey up, everybody. It wouldn't be right, Joe, if you want a little bit late. So it is always my fault with the lateness. I barely send Lockie the link up until about 30 seconds before it's meant to start anyway. So I'm surprised he makes it in. But how are you, Lockie?
I'm good. Yeah. We were talking about heading football, Jack, weren't we? For about 10 minutes, and now we both hate heading a football. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Already exposing myself in any aerial duel for the charity match, but
you never know who's watching, do you? To be fair,
I might just have to get up and win a few though early doors, and then everyone thinks he's all right, isn't there, him? But problem is, I don't know if I can even get up and win a few. To be honest,
that's the hardest bit in it. Getting up
Yeah.
there. Should be right. That's Joe near you. He can win all headers.
Yeah, do you reckon Joe's good in there?
I reckon he thinks he is. He goes for it, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? Proper try gets up there.
I bet there's a couple where he totally misjudged its flight. He comes
Fucking
out charging out to win it,
yeah.
and it's in behind.
Women's.
Yeah. Or from a corner, it'd be mint, big win and shout, and then just totally.
Right? If we can see the corner, it's his man. He's getting it.
Yeah, 100%. I might even get hold of him a bit myself. You know, just to shut him down a bit. Just pull on his arm as he's trying to mark someone and watch him get like, what's going on? And be like, I don't know, man. Who's tugging you about, man? Yeah, be a good day.
It's gonna be good. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, man. I'm all right. Cheers, Lockie. Yeah, just busy working and that, just normal stuff. Not to report particularly. Are you getting fitter, old Lockie? For it? Are you out on? Do you play much footy, Lockie?
I used to play every day for many years, every single day, but I haven't played in about 18 months since I stopped going uni.
Yeah.
So, no, it's the answer, but I'll be all right.
It's a good level, uni level as well, isn't it, to be fair? There's some good games. There's some good players, weren't there?
Oh, yeah. Some of one of the lads who played for seconds plays in Greece now. Plays in Cyprus. So there's a few in there, some internationals. Yeah, play for I think there's Northern Ireland under-16 international that played for one of teams. I think Bermuda there a guy that plays for Bermuda in under-23s as well. Yeah, quite a few good players. Yeah.
Bermuda Triangle, or
just hangs about him triangle.
Well, you know what the Bermuda Triangle is, don't you? There.
Yeah.
I thought I'd show my age there.
Scared life out of me when I was a kid. That watching all the theories about Bermuda Triangle.
It used to get me that.
He said, "Where my dad? Where is it? Am I near it?"
I know. That's what I swear down. That's what I was like.
Yeah.
It was apparently a thing, though. I know I'll probably get chopped up in comments for that saying that, but apparently there is something to it. It's like a dead zone or something, or whether people actually, I don't know whether it's just an avoided space or something. I don't have a clue, truth be told, but there's something to it.
Good.
But who knows?
That other one as well. What was that other one when I was young as well? Was it that boat? Everyone went missing on the boat, and it came back to shore, and there was no one on it. But everything was there was cutlery, everything was perfect. Everything was really weird. I don't know if anyone was that Mary Celeste, I think it was called, or something.
Rings a bit of a bell, that, to be fair.
Yeah, sounds frightening, man.
Maybe I've eliminated that one from my memory because I already don't like boats and sea and.
Nah, man. Sea's scary, innit?
Oh, it's horrendous.
What's down there, man? Do you know what I mean?
I can't do it. I'm very much a land animal, me.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of aught worse than being out at sea. Mary Celeste, yeah, it must be. No, very well remembered, that, Lockie.
I know, it's in there, see, it's ingrained. Brighton now, right? Let's not talk about that. It's giving me creeps a little bit.
The playoffs are the Bermuda Triangle for Leeds. Pretty much true, isn't it, to be fair?
But yeah, I hadn't I hadn't played in it'd be about 12 months now, yeah. About a year. But I'm gonna get fit. I've been doing running and stuff, but I've had tooth problems, so it just flares up every time I run. I'm getting that sorted in the next 2 weeks, hopefully. So I'll be back doing my 5Ks, mate. Yeah,
it's got its main thing in it. My stop-start fitness as well, isn't it? Like, I can do that for ages, to be fair. I'm rubbish at running, like long distances. I don't like doing it. So once I set off, I'm sort of all right, but I can't pace myself. I set off at 100 miles an hour, and I'm like, oh, shit. Not 100 miles an hour.
Quick, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm opposite me. I love running, I can't run treadmill, but outside I love it. You get a nice little route. It's beautiful, but I can't do gyms. Me, I get bored.
Yeah, they are. I think it's a lot of effort, me as well. You've got to like obviously get ready, go fit. You know what I mean? It's like it's a long time out of your day. I always think.
Yeah.
If you just put some shorts on and go for a run, you're done, aren't you?
Do run. I do sit-ups behind me here on carpet. Sit-ups, press-ups. I haven't done them in months, but do it here at home for free.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You can't beat a press-up. To be fair, I can't do many, but it's a proper, proper
many.
workout, though, isn't it?
Yeah, good. The mint, yeah, everywhere as well. So yeah, we'll be turning up to that charity match. Wow. Never been wham in my entire life, but I will be for that day.
Yeah, that's the thought process going forward. Anyway, whether or not it's achieved, will be turn up weaker than ever.
Yeah, no. June, I'll be exactly the same as I am now. You know, shit.
Yeah, thinking I've got loads of time. No time.
I said on that thing as well, I'll be able to play 90 minutes. So
yeah, I put 90 minutes. I put 90 minutes, and then instantly I thought, I'm worried I'm going to pick up an injury. I'm weighing, and about 2 minutes I'll last.
Be decent pace, though. It'll be slow. I reckon it'll slow down, won't it? So it'll be all right.
Yeah, hopefully.
Dictating possession, aren't we? Just, you know.
Well, I love it. That big game plan, won't it? If Andrea's got up to do with it.
Andrea, yeah, he's going to love it. Italian, slow it down. Defend first. But yeah, they're training apparently every week. Other team, you know.
Are they, I thought that was a bit of a joke.
I think they are. Not all of them, but I think a lot of them are quite local, whereas ours are all over it shop.
Yeah, all over it shop. Yeah.
So there's not much we can do.
I'd be adverse to having a knockabout together though, if we can all get together once. But just to get them connections in.
Yeah, chemistry.
Yeah, it is a bit though. It's good to meet. But...
yeah, we'll be all right. We don't need to train.
No, that's right. Yeah, we'll get the job done. But yes, Lockie. So there's been a comment saying, "Is this still a football channel?" But we are, talking roughly about football. But the clock watchers, I call them, because they're like on at me all the time when I'm waffling at the start of a video. Like, we're a minute in and you've not mentioned Leeds United yet. Like, I'm just fucking talking a bit of shit. Don't worry. Yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there. So yeah, we're getting there.
We'll be playing. Be watching us soon, boys. Don't worry about that. Get to watch us play football.
That's what it's all about. That's what you've all been waiting for. Real football, proper standard. But yeah, so have you seen Farke's press conference today then, Lockie? Like injuries?
Yeah.
Not much said really, but
quite deep. I think James, I reckon he might be. What did he say? He's going to miss this game.
Yeah.
Or as a late fitness test or something, he said, didn't he? That's good though for me. That means he's close. I thought it'd be a few weeks, but it's only been a week, has it? So I
thought it was possibly done for the season, really. Because once we get through this weekend, it's over, really, isn't it? I know, obviously, there's 2 weeks left, but
Rothwell as well. He'll be back for the last game too, so
yeah.
Good news for me, mate. We've been all right with injuries in terms of how long they've been out, haven't they? Ampadu, first time he were out, he came back early. And then second time he were out as well, he came back early, did Ampadu. Kind of a bit weird how quick he comes back. It's almost too quick. I don't really like it, to be honest.
He's got back. I mean, Ampadu's feeling like he's back to 100% last couple. Like, how many games has he been back? 2 or 3? Is it now? Is it 3?
It'll be 3. He's played 2 at centre back and 1 in midfield.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because that first game we were a bit sketchy on it in centre mid.
Yeah.
And then the 2 games at centre back, I think he's been solid. To be fair.
Luke's here. Opposition.
I know. Yeah. Shouldn't be opposition though, but.
Yeah, the Dan James news is mint. I'm glad he's back. Well, he'll be back soon because imagine him coming. If we need a moment in the last kind of 2 or 3 games, you got him coming back. Not better.
Even off at bench, if he's not 100% ready, for that it can be super effective off bench. Carter James, just with his speed and stuff.
Oh yeah, especially. I know it's cliche to say, but last 20 minutes when they're all knackered, imagine him coming on.
And he's completely different to what we've got on wing at the moment. Like, James is the most out-and-out winger, isn't he, I'd say.
That's what I love about him, Jack. He's proper... He's just direct, innit? Off ball as well, you know what I mean? He'll just attack that fullback every time. Whereas Bogle gets... Whoever gets it, really. James will just bomb on. And then fullback's got Whereas usually he's got a play in front of him, he's got a mark guy in front of him. James has gone. He's so wide as well. He's almost like, where is he?
Yeah.
And then by the time you've reacted, he's already in behind. He's that quick. It is weird, not weird, but it's mental how quick he is, isn't it? Like, I don't think it's appreciated how he's proper quick. Like, there's quick fullbacks that he comes up against, and he just absolutely destroys them, man. I'm worried about him when he does lose his pace, because I don't know what type of player he'll be.
It can lose a couple of yards, can't it? But you will notice. You'll notice when people sort of catch up with him. I felt for him a bit when he'd come back from his injury, or he was on his way back, and somebody sort of beat into a sprint type of thing really early on or whenever it was in season, quite early on in season when he got injured and he was on his way back. And everybody were like saying, "Oh, he's not actually that fast." And I thought, he's only just come back from injury. Not going to do a 60-yard sprint. He's not going to be at full tilt, is he? Because there's not many players catching him, and we saw that when he played for Man U. To be fair, like he's so rapid on break and stuff.
Yeah, it is. He's so unique in that sense, isn't it? A lot of wingers these days are very much on the ball, skill, 1v1. Now you've got this player who I don't know many like him that are just, I'll just run him behind. It's so old-fashioned and unique. I love him, man. I genuinely do. He's probably my favourite player, to be honest, Jack. I know Tanaka and all that, but I love Dan James. He's just, because you know what it is about him as well? He's quirky. He'll do ridiculous things, and people complain about it, but I love it. I love the fact that he has 30-yard shots with his left foot, because 10 of them will go over at bar, but one will go in top corner. It looks mint. I just think he's ace.
Yeah, he's my favourite player, I must say. He's fast becoming. And funnily enough, I've said this before, which is awful to say, but I didn't actually like him when there was something annoyed me about him. Just in general, like, I'm a big one on like mannerisms of players, and his mannerisms used to wind me up a little bit. I used to think a certain way of him, and like the more I've seen of him, even in like press conferences and stuff, he's nothing like I thought he'd be. I thought he seemed a bit like cocky, and he seems to be the total opposite of that. And like even Farkas said on, he's not like a loud person in changing room and stuff. Just sort of leads by example. But you always get 100% out of him. I love him. On James, Lockie, what do you think in Prem? Do you think it'll be, because we're quite strong in terms of wingers out? I wanted to ask you about Solomon, whether he's worth signing as well, really, or do you think we'll have the opportunity to sign him?
I think we will, but I actually think there'll be a lot of competition, because I think people have seen this season that he's not had many injury problems. So a lot of teams, the issue with Solomon was his injury problems, but they've seen he's played how many games this season? A lot. And he's had any injury problems, as I saw. Teams are going to see that now and go, right, he is fit, he can play. Because he had high stocks when he went to Fulham. High stocks. Obviously Spurs bought him, got them injuries, didn't quite happen. But lower end Premier League teams and even teams in Europe, I think will be all over him. So it's a weird one for me. With I know you don't like talking about price, but
no, it's not that. It's not that lucky.
I don't want it. Do you know what I mean? I don't want us to be. I honestly think 30 million's too much. I do.
Yeah.
Just because we're going to the Prem as well. He did it in bits, but he never really did it consistently. You know, the Premier League is different. It's a lot more physically demanding in terms of the pace of the game than the Championship. So that's when, you know, when you're sprinting more and stuff, that's when the injuries come. That's what worries me. I like him. I do. And if we did sign him for a decent amount, you know, probably less than 20-ish, less, I honestly wouldn't go more. I think it's a good deal and it'd be a good option. But I think any more than that, it just worries me a little bit still. I know he's had a good season with injuries, but has he got that consistency that we would need going up to the Premier League, and with the injuries and all that, it does worry me a bit. I think he's a fantastic footballer on his day. Really, really is. He can do all he wants on a pitch, really, on his day. He's that good. But I don't know, it just worries me a little bit. I don't know what you think about it. He's a weird one, Solomon.
Yeah, I want. Is that what the consensus is, that could be up to 30 million with him?
I think it was in January with some stuff about 20 to 25 million. Someone in the chat might know. But I think I've
go 15 to 20, like you said.
Yeah.
I think 15 would be a bit of a steal on the basis that I don't know how much we're going to spend really in the summer, but it's going to have to be a decent wedge of money. Yeah. So
yeah,
15 million really. What are you going to get for 15 million that ain't better than Solomon?
That's true. Yeah.
But I do think he'll be getting pushed out to other clubs. I think Tottenham will be having a real look. They'll be more than well aware that he's had a decent season, and like you say, largely stayed fit.
That's and it's Levy as well, innit? And he'll stretch any penny he can, and that's what worries me a little bit. I feel like we'll be in for it and we'll be up for it, and Farker will want him, and he's played for us, he'll knows the team, and I just hope they'll get blinded by Levy just saying, all right, just get an extra 7 or 8 million on. No, move on at a certain price for me. It's the same for Rothwell as well. I really like Rothwell, but again, if Bournemouth are asking a little too much, I think we've got to just be careful with stuff like this, because it is the Championship and the level of the Prem is ridiculous. So I like him, like you said. You are right, 15 million for a player like that, I think it's a decent deal, very decent. I take that, but probably anywhere over 20, I probably think we could get someone else in potentially. I don't know. I do like him though. I do like him.
No, I know, but it's just being honest and realistic about, because I love him and I love Rothwell, but the more that I'm also realistic about the whole thing, and we can't just. It's not because I get pellets for just wanting to sign. I want to sign Rothwell because I think he's been really good for us, and I think if he sits on bench, he'd be excellent squad player. But I understand, there's plenty of players around, particularly in that position, that we can potentially get for cheaper. And like you say, if they're pushing for too much money for Rothwell, I wouldn't. It's not Rothwell or anyone. I just don't understand why some people don't say, well, at a decent price, why wouldn't you take that in? Because that's already done. Do you know what I mean? That's sort of sealed, sorted. You know that you're getting them. And then we can look around the market a little bit. I'm sure they're looking right now, to be fair, because they'll be planning the Premier League signings, will the Lockie and the champion. Will they have moved on, do you reckon, from how much would you edge your bets when you're looking into signings and stuff?
That is, to be honest, you kind of, well, just from my experience, it's at a lot low levels, so it's hard to kind of thing, but there's one point in the season where you're not sure what league you're in, but you kind of do both. So you'll watch certain teams and you'll know certain targets that are probably for the Premier League or probably for the Championship. You're never really just looking for Premier League. You're kind of looking for both, and there might be players that are borderline,
crossover
for the Championship, but maybe not good enough for the Prem, or too good for the Championship, but we don't know if they're good enough for the Prem. And it's quite, it's you do both, mate. To be honest, like it's not like you fully concentrate on Championship. You will do both, and I think if you look at a lot of our signings, they are borderline Premier League anyway. Rodon, Ampadu, Ramazani, probably on his day could get up to that level. Nonto, I know we signed him a while, but even Perot could get a few goals in the Prem. Bogle as well. It's quite Tanaka. It's quite borderline anyway. But obviously, you have they'll have been. I don't know how it works at Leeds, but I'm assuming they'll have certain scouts doing certain leagues for the Championship and certain scouts doing certain leagues like the Premier League or looking in the Bundesliga, stuff like that. So, and then once it's confirmed, that's when everyone focuses on, right, now we're in the Prem. Let's do more research. Let's get more analysis, more stats. Let's watch more games, stuff like that on Premier League players. So you kind of do both. Yeah, you kind of hedge your bets on both. But then once it's confirmed, everyone flat out full working.
All systems go.
Yeah. So it can be very. It's hectic. I remember this season, the team I worked for, they sacked the manager in January. Just before or in January, I can't remember. Or it might have been just after. It was around January anyway. So we bought players in, then the manager got sacked. And suddenly the new manager came in and played a completely different way. So obviously looking forward to the summer. And at the time, didn't know what league we were going to be in because it was getting a bit tedious, but now we know it's going to be League Two. So you're kind of in a position where you've just got to scout as many as you can, as quick as possible. Everyone's got to work harder, get as many lists and names as you can. It's hectic, mate, honestly. People think recruitment's like this nice, slick little...
I can imagine, man.
It's mental, man. It's fun, though. It is good. It's good. It's mental.
And you're in a well as well, because I saw your video today, Lockie, which I strongly suggest everybody goes checks out. It's mint. It's about like how we'll get on next season, basically. What's the strategy going forward, and you sort of underline a few things, which is pretty mint, well, proper mint. So do go check the video out. Cheers. But you mentioned that Farker got 8 million with Norwich, which obviously is zero, isn't it? So I know it's not the best budget, but on the cheap, this idea that things are on the cheap, I wanted to get your thoughts on, because I'm big into everybody. I've had a few comments even here saying, "Oh, I thought you want into numbers on players." My thing is, if the window is good, I don't care whether we spend 8 million or 80 million. It just doesn't bother me. It's just getting Tanakas of the world, isn't it? Like proper decent players. So my question would be, Lockie, is there, because you mentioned that obviously there's no hidden gems. Everybody's looking at the same players. Everybody's aware of these players. So is there, can you pick up, because we've done quite well picking up players that have then moved on, like Rutter and stuff. We managed to get them, and then he moves on. Is there like a market where the top clubs won't want to look like, or that they'll wait it out and maybe pay more down the line? So we pay the initial bit, and then they're not worth the risk for them, the top clubs. Do you see what I mean? But then if it comes to Leeds and perform, they'll pay more than we did to get them at their club. A club's aware of the risk.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you'll get. So I'd assume, and again, I don't work at that level, but it's kind of similar when level. It's relative in it, but it's quite similar.
Yeah,
it's like there were teams that are, say, top 6 fighting for a Champions League place. They will look at certain targets, and they might want the player, but it might not be right now. It could be 2 or 3 years. Let's see how it develops. But they know, because they're so, and this is football these days, because they could just spend 60 million on a player like that, just easily. They know, give him a few years at this club, they won't ask for any more than 60 million. Then we'll get him. 6 million is nothing to us if that gets us in the Champions League. So it is quite. You'd probably say the same for Rafinha. There was a lot of, obviously, he came to Leeds. He had an idea where he wanted to go, but Barcelona would have been aware of a Brazilian winger tearing up in France before he came to Leeds.
Yeah.
Even Arsenal, Chelsea, all they wanted him. But it's sometimes good for the player as well. On the player side of it, where am I going to play? If I want to get to a top 6 team, if I go now, am I going to play? Probably not, because they've got this winger or this striker. Whereas if I go to Leeds United, big club, big stature, on Sky a lot. Yeah, decent financial, decent projects. If I do that well there for 2 years, every top 6 club in every league will want me. And this club obviously will need the money, so they'll still sell so they can reinvest it. So it kind of works on both, to be honest. It's from a recruitment perspective, you just have to make sure you get your targets at the end of the day. That's the goal. And it's down to, you look at like Man United, for example, they only really sign big names, because if they signed a name that's not really known, the reaction to the fans would be, well, who's this guy and all this?
It dumb me out.
Yeah. When in reality, it could be a fantastic player. Whereas Brighton fan base, they sign this unknown player. Every club will know about this player, but they've got the cojones to say, right, we'll get him, because their fan base isn't going to go crazy when they sign this guy who no one knows. That's kind of what happens. I think you see at the top. Look at Chelsea as well. They just signed any young Brazilian winger and send him off on loan for 2 or 3 years. Whereas this is what annoys me. Like, I get it, it's where the money's at, but that young Brazilian winger could play in a lower end Premier League team and tear it up. You know what I mean? It's decisions that annoy me like that, and there's kind of a mix between what the recruitment team wants, but also the player. What does the player want? Because some players might want to join a lower team just for that reason, that they know they'll play. And I know Rafinha loves us, obviously, he's got a place in his heart for us, but he knew coming to Leeds he'd play, and he knew under Bielsa he'd tear it up, and he knew in 2 or 3 years he'd be at Barcelona. And that's fine. I'm all right with us being that as well. As long as they come here and do their best with us and get us to where we need to go, I'm absolutely fine with it, mate. So at the end of I know I'm blabbering on, but
no, you're not.
At the end of the day, unless you're top 4, you're probably going to lose your players. If they do well for 2 years, they're probably going to go to a top 4 team, or a Bayern Munich, or a Barcelona, or a Madrid, or a PSG. You know what I mean? Or Saudi. So it's quite difficult to kind of nail down who the main targets are, because you do want a player that's you're going to get for cheap, but you could sell for 80 million in 3 years, or you could get a player that's already worth about 60-70 million, who's tearing it up in the Bundesliga, but then in 2 or 3 years you probably won't get the reback a sale back on that. We're in that bottom one for me, where they can bring a few of these players in who are worth 15, 20 million, knowing in 2 or 3 years' time, 60, 70 million. That's what I think what we'll be doing. Sorry, I went off on
no, that's awesome, Lockie. I personally think that's the best way to go, though, with the 15, 20 million on players. And then if they don't work, there's nowhere near the level of let down with it. I always thought I was buzzing when we bought Rodrigo, but I remember thinking at the time, and I thought, I know he's Spain number 9. I thought there's a lot, we've just come up. There's a lot on this player here. Like, he'd also been at the Prem before, and I know it was a lifetime before for him and stuff. And I thought Rodrigo overall was decent for us. I think people look back really fondly on him for some unknown reason, particularly on Twitter. Seems to get still gets like the crying out face, like, I can't believe he's left type of thing, which I don't understand on that level, because I don't think he was that good. Technically superb, but not really what we needed at the time, really. And a bit injury prone himself.
And was it Ollie Watkins who were linked with as well?
Yeah, I mean,
at the same time.
That's what I mean. It's a no-brainer, that.
That's it. We did the big name striker. That's what we did with Rodri. Yeah. Whereas the right option was probably who was then a younger Ollie Watkins who would tear at the Championship. You know, he was physically good enough for the Premier League. He was an excellent player, but we obviously went for the name. And that's kind of what the top teams usually do. They go for the name, knowing that the team below them, so the Leeds United sign a Rafinha, knowing in 2 or 3 years I will be able to get him for 70 million. They won't turn that down. So that's kind of what we did there. We went for the name. I think as well, it's important for us to balance that out this season if we do go up. I think we need to. Names are good, proven Premier League players. I'd love them. Get them in, but we also need some young Brazilian talent as well. You know what I mean? Maybe not Brazilian, but you know what I mean. We do need to mix it up a little bit for me. Don't be too safe.
Yeah, bit of flair as well, I think, goes a long way, and particularly with potentially how we're going to end up playing. If you get somebody, I know obviously very rare we're going to get another Rafinha, but we're going to need a bit of luck and players like that. I know we're going to struggle to get another Rafinha, but players like that do change games and take the luck out of it a little bit when you're up against it. He scores a worldie against Everton or whatever away and we win 1-0. These days can be massive, can't they, when it's a tight game and you end up nicking 3 points because you've got someone outstanding. And I also think when it's only one, so obviously the whole team has to be good, but I think we've got a relatively decent side now if we build on it. But if you get one that is actually like easily your best player, even if it's just in your squad, I think that propels them on to an extra level as well, because the whole thing's built around them a little bit more. So Rafinha was even better. I don't think he could have come to a better club in England, really, for where he was at the time. Do you know what I mean? I know he'd have done really well anywhere he went, but I just think how they managed him through that, really. Like you say, coming to Bielsa's side, that were Rafinha all over, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, that were the perfect ingredients when we signed him. It just worked so well. I think we all knew as soon as we saw him that he ain't going to be here for too long. But we just enjoyed him. And he never played like a player who didn't want to be here, even though he said he wants to play for Barcelona. That's his dream. We all accepted that and went, yeah, just do well for us. And he did. And that's kind of, I think where we went wrong was when we signed players who wanted to come in because of Jesse Marsh. They were they even said it. Weston McKennie said in an interview, didn't he? He came in because Jesse Marsh was there, then they sacked him, just as he joined, or was it just after? I can't remember. But that was the point. Like, I don't want players. I'm all right with bringing in players. They don't have to, they're not going to support Leeds. They're not going to be Leeds fans. But they want Leeds to do well so they can do well for their career. I'm all right with players like that. I don't want players that kind of are just coming in because I know the manager or stuff like that. I think that's good. I think you can have players who love the manager, but they've got to have the right intentions and they've got to want to love the club. I look at our players now and I think they're growing on me a lot. I think they are beginning to understand what Leeds United is. And obviously under Bielsa, every player in that team knew exactly what this club was. Even Rodrigo, I know he weren't ideal, but every goal he scored, he loved it, didn't he?
Yeah.
His celebrations were mint. And even Rafinha, he knew as soon as he came in what the club meant. And I think we lost that. I think we lost that in the second season. I do. I think we lost kind of what these players we brought in, they were not really that bothered about Leeds for me. And again, they don't have to be fans, but I need them to care about the club. I do think we lost that. When Rafinha, he was that man. He did care about the club. He said in an interview the other day, actually, I remember he said about Bielsa. He mentioned, there was a quote, and he said, they've got a place in my heart of Leeds United because what they give to me. And I like that. I like that we can be that,
Yeah, because he said he wouldn't be the same without Bielsa, didn't he? Which I know everybody that crosses paths with Bielsa thinks that even if even if he's just managed your club, I don't think I'd ever be the same without Bielsa, and I never even spoke to him or saw him. So, but yeah, it's like you say, it's a stepping stone club effectively, isn't it? And you just have to take that. That's why we spoke about this last time, Lockie, but the amount of windows you have to get right because we're going to lose players in the meantime. It's not like you go, brilliant, we're in a brilliant situation with brilliant, right, just get more, keep where you're weak. Normally where you're not weak, you lose your best player, don't you? So you're weak there again, and you have to go again with it. And so it's a few windows in it before you can actually start holding on to them players. Because realistically, you're probably going to lose two a year, aren't you? That if they're decent.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's the. I honestly think if we that second season, if we'd have pushed on from our 9th position and we were competing for Europe, I honestly think we could have kept Rafinha for longer. Maybe not too longer, maybe another season.
Just another year.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but we didn't. We lost him. We lost Phillips. Those are our main players. Really want them. That's what you've got. That's what you've got to do. You've got to prove to players that there is a project and there is a vision. And we did lose that when Bielsa went. It was a shambles after that. Jesse kept us up, or we stayed up. We stayed up is what I'll say. But then the season after, although we started really well, first 4 games were mint. It just lost all identity. And I think that's what we need to avoid this time. We need to keep that, because that first season, just the club was mint on it. The feeling around the club was so good. Every player, the manager, everything was mint. And it kind of just disappeared. And then we just kind of dropped and just fell and lost every week. Yeah.
We didn't have any personalities in that second season where you just thought, even if it's selfishly or among the team, it felt like there were a togetherness that, because I actually spoke about, I can't remember what, I think I might have said this on Joe's, but it concerns me how long Farker can keep the players. I think there's interested. So, and I don't just mean that on Farker, I just mean on anybody's basis. I mean, there were a few people within the club that said that a few players had thrown it in on Bielsa, and that obviously did my head in on the basis that, because he's made a lot of them players. But once it turns, it can turn, and then there's no way back for manager, was there? In reality, if that is true, even of Bielsa, what he can't do all at that point, can he?
No, I think it is true, sadly. It happens a lot with him because he demands no ego and just hard work. And footballers, they've got to where they are because of the ego. And that's fine. It's not really, that's who they are. They've got to where they are and they'll get to where they're going because of that. But Bielsa demands none of that. And that's why it worked so well that first season. Because although we brought players in, we didn't change too much from the Championship. We brought Rodrigo, Rafinha, Clarente, but not too much. We still had the same lads there that got us up. So they knew exactly what to expect. But once that kind of died off after that first season, and then the second season, we weren't winning. We a terrible start. We lost. Well, I can't remember the score against Man United, but it were bad on it.
Really
and then I think and I love Bielsa at bits, but even Dallas said it. The players were just drained physically and mentally. That second season, suddenly these lads who have played ridiculous for 2 or 3 years just had no in there. And that's on the club, because Bielsa told the club, you'll have to give me players. That's the way it is. It works in a 3-year cycle. And they didn't. They bought in, 2 players in that window? That was Firpo and James, wasn't it? I think. Was that in that summer window? I think it was, yeah.
I can't remember, yeah.
And you remember as well, they're older.
That's what I was going to say. Look, it's 3 years on, isn't it, really?
4 years, yeah.
It's a lot in your legs that it's not like he's got a lot of 21-year-olds that are all just like, oh my God, we are flying here. And I'm still in they were all getting 31, 32, on the 30. And that's not old as a footballer, but it is at that, particularly when they've not been like that for even years before. If that's what your football is, if that's what you are, like, you know, you get about plenty, but it were getting that extra 10% out of them on it, and it's obviously it's going to have some effect eventually on them.
Yeah, it will. You're working harder than anyone in your league every single game, and those were the stats, weren't they? We were the best, most hardworking team in any league, even in the Prem. Like, that's the level you've got to be at, and that's amazing. I loved it, but you've got to help the manager out, and you've got to invest, and you've got to change the squad, especially like you said, Cooper was getting on at that point, Dallas, you know, Ayling, even probably Rodrigo. There's so many in there that were old, and the legs had gone or were going, and we didn't replace it really, and that's what frustrated me. So if we go up now, and this is the conversation about that people are having online about the manager and all that. You know, do we buy for the manager? Do you buy? You can't buy for Farke. You can't give Farke 150 million. You're not giving the manager 150 million. You're buying players based on what he needs for his system. And if you're recruiting a manager, that's your job to do that. If you get players that are not right for his system, you've failed as someone that's employed the manager. You know, you've got to give him the tools. You know, I never get that. It's. I'm sure we'll get onto that, but it's all a bit silly.
Yeah, well, similar to that, Lockie, you mentioned on your video that this idea that Farke likes a certain type of winger, and that's not. He's proven that that's not true, really. I mean, I found that interesting in general. I think this of wingers in general, really, though, because the wingers, you said in your video that, you know, Farke just wants them to be creative, like the most creative players on pitch, and that's ultimately, you can be creative on the wing. I don't think it's a particular. I know it's a very specific position, but they all are, aren't they? I just mean that you've got quite a lot of freedom on the wing, haven't you? And as long as you are putting some numbers together or you're effective, I think most managers will let you do your own thing on wing, really. They'll sort of work around it.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm just seeing, because I see stuff online of people saying about shouldn't sign Solomon because this, and Farke likes him because it's his type of winger. I saw that, and just do a little bit of research. He doesn't have a type of winger. Look at our wingers; they're all different.
That's what
Solomon's completely different.
Watch one game and just watch Solomon and James, and then you're done, aren't you?
Look at Norwich. He had on wing. He had Hernandez in his first season. Buendia on the right, who's completely different. Todd Cantwell on the left, who's completely different to Buendia. Like, all his, even at Borussia Mönchengladbach, you know, he had begins with an N, I can't remember his name, and Coco or something like that. Completely different. Like, you know, this guy doesn't have a specific winger. You know, like I said in the video as well, the 10 role, questionable. You know, there is a lot of similarities that he needs in there, but the wingers are very open and free. So I just don't get the narrative that, you know, he wants Solomon because it's his type of winger. That I never understood that, because Dan James is completely the opposite to Man or Solomon.
It just wants Solomon on the basis that he's decent, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he's a good winger, isn't he? So I can work with him. That's what I mean about the freedom that he's got. If his tendency is to cut in and James is to go to byline, how bothered it? As long as they're playing within the regions that he wants them in, you know, like in the pockets that he wants them in. But if he's more effective dipping inside a little bit, he just makes sure that Firpo does more overlaps than maybe normally would, or, you know, and if he was more wide, Firpo would be on underlap more or whatever, you know, or just stay out of way. When Byron plays, he just stays out of way, doesn't he, really, and lets Solomon go where he wants. Byron just sort of hooks touchline and gives it all a bit of width. It's literally horses for courses out there. I know what you mean with the 10, because that is, and it's a real like penultimate part of the pitch as well, where there's no messing really. Because you've said for quite a while that he likes big physical, like ball players still, though, isn't it? People that break the box.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing with this 10, like the whole conversation who can play there. For me, when we go to the Prem, I think that is somewhere we need. I think our 10 is going to have to be one of our best players, because it's really important. Because they have a lot of defensive work, our pressing, our shape. They are basically the pinpoint of it. And they need to be physical, but they also need to be skillful. They need to be able to defend, they need to be able to attack. There's got to be a very good player in there. And we don't have that at the club at the moment. And yeah, all his 10s, you got Stiperman, Vrancic, you know, there's loads as well. There's No House, who was at Borussia Mönchengladbach, Kramer, who played at Borussia Mönchengladbach again. They were all kind of eights midfielders, but they were all quite tall and physical, but they were very good in the box. They found spaces in the box, they attacked the box. That's generally what he's gone with. Now, if he needs to, he will play a more smaller technical player in there. But I think in the Prem, when we go up, we need that profile of a big guy who can drop deeper, but also, like this at Rutter. Rutter were almost perfect for Farke in that role because he'd get the ball deep. The only thing Rutter missed in that role for me was just his bit of his defensive brain at times. But that type of profile, maybe someone that's a little more tidy, is perfect for him, I think.
Yeah, because he did.
He had 50 million quid out.
Well, this is it, isn't it? Yeah, you really do have to find a diamond in rough, don't you? But if you are going for a little bit more of a physical, like a number 8, that does make it slightly easier. It's less. It's I mean, I know Rutter was unbelievable on ball, really, like turning and that. And I know it frustrated people losing ball, but I mean, they're on about he's linked with Chelsea, isn't he? Been saying for the past couple of days. What do you think to that, Lockie?
Well, I said, and it's kind of crazy at the time, but I believed it. I said in 5 years he could be at Madrid. Not quite Madrid, but we're 3 years in, and he's got.
He's on his way. He's on his way up.
It's kind of he goes well at Chelsea. He could be at Madrid, but yeah, I don't want him to go. I don't know. He's having a good time at Brighton. I don't know why he'd leave. Obviously, money, obviously, but as a player, why would you? Is he going to play? Is he going to start? I don't know if he is. They just signed so many players, Chelsea. It's wild, isn't it?
It's the only club that I would say, really, because normally you'd be like, well, he'll get his chance. But at Chelsea, I don't know whether you really do. There's that many of them. And they've got literally about 4 sides, haven't they? Literally not got enough changing rooms for them at points. They were training in different places and stuff, weren't they? Like they're building marquees and that to work out in. And
I hope he doesn't. And apparently he said in an interview I think Joe said on his channel that he's kiboshed that and said if he moves anywhere, it's out of England. He don't want to move to another English club, apparently. So that's lining up the move to Madrid. So
it's on.
Yeah, but yeah, I love Rutter, man. He's just, I've said before, players like him just love playing football. Just run past players, do some silly skill. I love it. That's entertainment, innit? And that's what I will say. I was going to ask you actually, Jack. If we go up, I keep saying when, it's not done yet. What type of player do you want to see as signed?
Well, you can't beat. Do you mean in terms of a name or just the figure?
Oh, not name, just the figure. What profile you want to be?
There's nothing more like the most. So when we started losing players end of last season, at the start of this season, I got through them all, even Somerville, who I loved watching. But then when we lost Rutter, it got me, that one. And I don't know whether it was because of an accumulation as well, because obviously, and I don't mean this against Grave. Everybody thinks I don't like Grave for some reason. I don't know why that is. But I just thought we got loads of money for him. He's only a young lad. He played it right. But I thought we'll be all right with that. And then Somerville, I thought were an inevitability. But then when Rutter went, I just thought, he makes my days at Ellen Road so much better, does Rutter. He just does. I just watch him. That's why I could never get frustrated with him. Because I was like, in a minute, he's going to do something that lights me up. I'm smiling. Just hang in there with him. Get behind him because he's going to make your day better. And he did. He did it a lot. And not through goals and stuff. That's the madness, because he didn't have his return wasn't great, was it, last year? But I know it was in terms of, because he affected games, and I think he put fear into most players that played against him. Centre mid, centre backs, everybody hated him. But yeah, players like Rutter, you just can't replace.
Nah, it is sad, man. Yeah, I would heartbroken when he left, because that's the type of player that reminded me of the Ronaldinho that I used to grow up watching, or just someone like that who just played with fun, and his smile and his energy. It was great, man. And I remember going to playoffs and I was sat at the top watching him, and he was stood in front of the crowd just in tears, and I was like, "Oh, don't you cry." But I thought in that moment, I went, "Yeah, he's going to stay in. He wants to take us to Prem." And that's what thingy as well. The clause that he had in his contract, they thingied it on the last day of it. It was so close to him staying now.
Yeah, and that's
what you want to see in it. In the Prem, you want to see a player like just someone that can make you smile when you go watch football, some entertainment.
And especially when days can be a bit dark, which they will be a bit next season, you know. And to be fair to Brighton, they've got a few like that, haven't they? They've got a few players that, you know, can light a bit of a game up or change a game and just, I don't know, do something a little bit out, something not structured. And you've spoke quite a lot, Lockie, about, and you actually got me watching Premier League football a bit different now. And I'm like, shit, yeah, I do think this is a bit boring. Like, I am a bit like, you know, it's so structured, and I understand why, because there's so much money riding on it and teams can't risk things and that. But there's always players that just do stuff and you just think that's not taught, that's not told. They just can't help it. It's just in there. They don't play any other way, do they?
Done it since they were a kid, that's it. But they don't lose that, and that's what I don't like at times about. I get, like I said, I get it. Modern football, it's very system based, but especially wingers, they're the entertainment. You know, like Messi when he was young, watching Messi on, oh my God, like just running past everyone with ease. That's what gets you into football. One of my favourite players at Leeds was Max Gradle. He just do step overs on wing and just take people on. Put one in top corner. You know what I mean? That's what I watch football for. That's why I love Rafinha. That's why I love Dan James. He's different though, Dan James. He's just mint in what he does. But that's kind of what I love about football. And when that's kind of coached out, that's why I don't like it when Solomon stops and passes it back. I get it, but just do him, you know what I mean? Cut inside and hit one in top corner because you're capable of it. And that's what I love about football, mate. So I need, when we go up, because you're right, it's going to be dark at times. Just give me them little gems that are going to do something brilliant. Like watching Forest and looking at Hudson-Odoi, Elanga, just on them wings, just tear people apart. I need a bit of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we spoke about it the other day, didn't we, on Jaws, when it's like it's basically just a one-on-one in it, and everything else is out window, and you're just getting it your right back or getting it your left back. There's nothing like it. I mean, I used to love Kuhl and stuff. I know Kuhl's a bad name now around these parts, but there were no like Kuhl. I remember my brother took me to a game and stuff, and they were like, Kuhl were injured, and they were like gutted because I was on. He must have only been about 10 or something. And they were like, I'm just gutted. Kuhl's not here. And I was like, John, I'm buzzing. Do you know what I mean? I'm at Leeds, I'm at Ellen Road, and they were like, yeah, but Kuhl's not. I just wanted you to see Kuhl. And then I got to see him, and they were like, a few months later, my brother was like, he's coming back from injury though, and I was like, he's unreal, man. Because there is something about seeing him live as well. And I know that's a lame thing to say, but it is true. You know, one thing watching Messi on screen, and then if you actually got to see him live, which I never did, but it's I mean, can you imagine watching that every week, man? New camp, having a season ticket and just watching Messi, Ronaldinho.
Yeah, that it's Messi is. I'm not going to get into the Ronaldo conversation, but I don't get it. I really, he is, and it's not even a disrespect to Ronaldo for me. I think he's obviously his unbelievable, insane career, one of the best. But Messi, just watch him. I saw people that think Ronaldo's better. Just watch Messi. Obviously, maybe not now. He's a bit older, but go watch him every season. You know, for the last 15 years, just go watch him. It's too easy for in the Champions Leagues, or too easy for him every game. It's just he flies past people like they're not there. I've never seen it like it. It's amazing, man. And I just do anything to have like just some little gem at Leeds who just pops up. I don't know. We've got our squad, and then later on in window, we just signed some random kid from Argentina or something like that. Do you know what I mean? He's been playing in Belgium second tier. We bring him on for 10 minutes and he just does some, oh, who's this little kid here? You know what I mean? That's a dream. Some little kid just comes on and...
It's good when they're not, because like, I mean, even Rafinha, Bielsa held off a little bit, didn't he? And I remember he came on for about 8 minutes or something in one of the home games.
Yeah.
I was just watching it on TV, and he just played a pass. It was only a cross floor, but it was like 20 yards. It must have been like a bit of a switch ball, but it was on without clipping it. He just like buzzed it in. And I was literally like, oh boy, you know, like put it in with so much, you know, like that's a good touch. Like, and it's not, we've spoke about this because when you spoke about Tanaka, now the first touch is not just a good one. There's like an elegance to a touch in the way you think like, oh my God, there's something different about that. Do you know what I mean? And then when he sprayed ball, I was like, this guy's no joke. Do you know what I mean? This is better than anything I've just watched, particularly when you've had 80 minutes of it. And then he comes on and you think, oh, hang on a minute, this is a different level, this is a different pace, we're off, you know, he hung him out there for a bit, but it gives you that belief.
Yeah.
Flip of that was I had that with that Augustine guy where he kept coming on and I thought, just give him a bit of time. Give him a bit of time, you know, because he used to excite me. Like without, he never did anything. He never took a decent touch or all. But I was always like, right, come on then. And obviously that never happened. But you know,
he
I
won.
don't think
He won player of the tournament. I think it was they were under 21s Euros over Mbappe. That were I were going with. So I thought this guy's going to be mint. And that were about only 2 or 3 years before we got him.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh, we've got a gem here. But he just, for whatever reason, couldn't be bothered getting fit, could he? So
he was decent though, wasn't he? You would imagine. I know we've said this before, technically and stuff.
He's one of them players that could have had it. He did have it. He had all of it, and then he just didn't develop after kind of 20 years old. He just, whatever reason, and he's playing in Eastern European now somewhere.
Oh God knows. Is he still taking money off us, Dino? Have we sorted that out?
Don't know, man.
Because I never know if it comes up in news every now and again that he's still taking his bucket load of money or something, or we're still arguing about a release clause or something. I'm like, what is going on with this guy?
Was it like 50 million in end with his transfer
bad,
budget and the wage? Mental.
Yeah, it was. I think it worked out. It was getting like $1 million a minute or something on it for how many minutes he'd played.
You know what the thing is though, Jack? This is the weirdest thing about that. We know obviously Bielsa said yes or no to everyone, so he said yes to him.
Yeah.
What Bielsa, mate? You're almost perfect, but no one's perfect. What are you thinking there, lad?
And he must have thought when he said, "Oh, he's a bit unfit." He must have, I'll sort that out. And then when he seen him on treadmill, thought, "Oh, I can't sort this out." He's never getting fit. But yeah,
there were a video, you know, of during lockdown when they were doing the running on the treadmill, and Leeds released video of him doing it, Augustine, and he looked thin. And all everyone were going, "Oh my God, he's here, he's here." I don't know what happened after that, because he didn't happen after that.
Yeah.
But that was fun times.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we got up, didn't we? So it's all right.
Well, yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? That injection we needed.
Yeah.
Somehow. Just lifts crowd a little bit, even regardless if they don't ever end up doing out.
It's like not as bad as that, obviously, but Elder Costa as well. He was unbelievable at Wolves.
Yeah.
He weren't terrible. I don't think he was as bad as some people say.
No, I liked him. He
weren't what he was at Wolves.
No, he underwhelmed in comparison, yeah.
Yeah. Like stuff like that.
I mean, he didn't start really, did he? He won't be Bielsa's winger, were he? He never became. Yeah. Oh, sorry, dude. I mean, in terms of like, it wasn't the starter. It was very rare. He was always coming off at bench when he really Costa.
Yeah.
More often than not.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought he started a lot.
Well, he started in Prem a bit, but
when did we sign him? Was that second season Bielsa, wasn't it?
I can't remember, dude. Honestly, my memory's so bad.
Yeah, it was. Because we did the Costa Cup on table, wasn't it? There's a Costa Cup on table. For yeah. I honestly, chat will tell me, but he just used to do my head because he was a winger who didn't take his man on. He just
and he was good on ball. He seemed like that type of player, you know.
Bielsa ruined him with his fitness.
Yeah, well, he want that type of player where he didn't look built for it either, did he? Really? But I did think he helped us get up. I'm sure he just came off at bench more often than not. I know he started a few in Prem, but I thought I was pretty sure he was just like a bencher really. Because it was Harrison. I can't remember who we had in that on wings in that. Harrison on left wing. With James on right wing. No, we didn't get James, did we? We got James in Prem, didn't we?
We should have done.
I know. Oh yes, he came over from Swansea, didn't he? And then got sent home.
I think it might have been Costa, Jack.
Yeah, it must have been on right wing.
Costa and Roberts.
Fucking hell. I thought Roberts were more at 10 though. That's crazy.
No, yeah, he was. Roberts were at 10. Just funny how
Hernandez. Yeah, Roberts got a lot of stick as well. He still does in chat.
Yeah. Was it Northampton? I think he scored his first goal in like 19 games of a week or something.
Yeah, he's fallen off a cliff, hasn't he, to be fair?
League One.
Not that it was ever sort of on top of the cliff, but...
I always backed him, you know, I was proper deluded about him. I thought, give him a chance, he's got this. But he scored 2 against QPR and I was there.
He looked like a goal scorer, though, when he got them.
Yeah.
Was that off at bench? I seem to remember he got a couple of goals off at bench, or he got one goal, and I thought, no, this lad needs a chance here, this lad. I were into Roberts, and then...
No one was perfect, were they?
No.
They also weren't perfect. It was left back, was it Barry?
Yeah. Douglas.
Yeah, he just brought it. Yeah, that's Douglas. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Just brought him on every like 60th minute without fail, and he wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and yeah, he wasn't the forward thinking fullbacks that we then sort of got to enjoy, particularly this season.
And then Joffrey, what happened with Joffrey, man?
And I think that one's sad though, me. Not sad, but
I love Joffrey, me. He's mint. Always liked Joffrey.
Yeah, I did. He's had some big moments for us as well, but be interested to see what happens with him. I don't know how he's got on in the past few weeks. He started well at Hull, didn't he?
I
thought that was a bit of a difficult move for him, really, though, because they're obviously a bit shit.
They like him, I believe. I think the fans love him. Yeah, I don't think he's clinical at all. Like, he doesn't score loads, but I think they actually really like him there.
He's good on ball, and he can beat a man and stuff. He can do unusual stuff. I think Joffrey.
Yeah,
always like flicking it over someone, or he'll just pop ball about a bit, and just like a couple of little touches in his away. Like he's got good feet. Have you seen that Christensen's just signed for Frankfurt? They were another one that I'd forgot about.
Another one that when we signed him, I was like, ooh, this guy watching all highlights is doing
the warrior, whatever everybody kept calling him.
Yeah, I mentioned it on Joe's, mate, but it was first game when he played against Wolves. It might not be the first one, but he played against Wolves at right back, and he got Neto for the first time, got him, and then after that, Neto just absolutely ruined him. I think he did a little cheer after he tackled him first.
Yeah, you're saying, he went up to crowd,
Neto just destroyed him 4 or 5 times in the first half, and everyone went like,
yeah, we're getting caught out loads at top on it as well.
Yeah,
ball was getting picked up top.
It was weird, but it's doing really well. For a team doing decent in Bundesliga as well.
I know.
It's weird, man. It is weird. He was a good player before as well. He joined. He played in Europe. He was good in Europe. Premier League's different. It just is. It's some players even good players just can't adjust to it. And then some players that you might think might not adjust to it really well. It's just a unique league. But yeah, he's gone 7.7 million's decent, isn't it?
What did we buy him for? Because everybody's saying, did we break even? I don't know why anybody cares at this point, 3 years on or whatever, 2 years on.
Yeah, I think it was about 10.
Yeah, it's like you're going to lose a bit of money on these players, aren't you? But do you want them back? Let's not pretend we want them back. So
no, I mean that's it. Like he's gone now. The statement was brilliant. There was no "we wish him good luck." It was just
I saw it.
Defender leaves Leeds.
It's mad that, innit? I thought that were a joke. I had to go check.
There's a little more. Yeah, there's a little more below it.
Underneath it,
he's left for this much.
Yeah,
that's it.
Defender leaves club.
Yeah,
it's mad. 15 million, Andrew said. But again, that's what I mean about spending. You can spend it, and
he's got Bogle for 7.
I know. He's a better right back.
Yeah,
he's better going forward. He's better. I don't know whether he's better defending, but I think he probably is.
This is it, Jack. About like people say we need a fullback in Prem that can defend and attack. The fact is, they're probably going to cost about 80 million because there's probably about 10 of them in the world that can do that.
Yeah.
I don't think Bogle's terrible defensively, but he's really good going forward. So he's going to get beat. He'll get torn apart a few games. He just will. I remember before we signed now, watching Sheffield United versus Nottingham Forest, and he was up against Hudson-Odoi, and he tore him apart. But then there's been other games where he's back pocketed the wingers. So it's they'll have
that. Yeah, that's basically what you're saying as well, Lockie. They'll have days where they're defensively sound, and it goes from that type of winger they can deal with. And then there'll be the days when the wingers just bang at it, and there's very few right backs could stop them. The Premier League wingers out there, they're used to facing up against these right backs out. They do it every day in training, Yeah,
exactly. It's probably one of the hardest positions defensively because every winger in Premier League. I mean, even look at like lower teams. Kuna for Wolves, he's their winger or 10 wherever he plays. He can play either, can't he? But ridiculous, and they're in like 16th place. I'm looking at West Ham other day, they've got Kudos, they're 17th, and that's their winger. And Bowen, I'm thinking every winger in Premier League is ridiculous.
Yeah,
so any fullback's going to struggle.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is with wingers. I can't help but think if to a certain level, I've said it before, but at a certain level, I think most wingers, once you get to a certain level as a winger, I think they're all much of a muchness. If you put any of them, they're all like, if you put Bowen in Liverpool's side, he'd be a beast, wouldn't he? And I know he's been good for West Ham. I mean, he gets in England squad and stuff. He's brilliant. But if he's in a poor side, he's obviously not going to be able to deliver. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I wanted to talk to you about Harrison, funnily enough. And I'm not, certainly not advocating we bring Harrison back, but there's loads of talk that he's going to come. I don't personally think that he's going to come back. And it's all, they don't like him at Everton, do they?
No.
How do you rate his time at Leeds, one, and then two, him as a footballer?
He's do you know what it is with Harrison? He's, and this is, I feel harsh saying this, but he never did anything to connect with anyone. It felt like his interviews are, I know they're all quite boring, but so there was nothing there. There was never a hint of passion or anything. I just feel like he's one of them people who just does his job, goes home, and I like the ones that are a bit different and a bit rogue for me, and actually say things in press. You know, like Leeds, all this. I love Leeds, all this. I love that. So I never felt that connection with Harrison. To say someone that was here for that long and won promotion with us, and then his first season in Prem, I actually thought he was excellent. Probably one of our best players. It was
Luke
really
from Ottoman better don't like that, you know.
Doesn't it?
Oh, he does not like that. He think he's on his own live, but yeah, he doesn't. I said that on Joe's when I first met him, and he was like, "Sorry," and he really like
first season.
Well, I just referenced him because I think it's when as he were leaving, or the second year we're on about replacing him or Summit, and I says, "Oh, well, ultimately you can slag him off as much as you want. He delivered for us, and he gave us one of the best numbers." And there are actually a lot of pundits really talking about him quite a fair bit and saying his quality on ball. He's got a good left foot and stuff.
There were genuinely England chat. I remember being at uni and I lived with Man United and Man City fans, which was fun. But talking about it, and I remember saying England squad, and there was names, or will Harrison get called up? Like, that was genuine discussion. I think there was a stat that he had the most G&A from anyone, from any English player in the Premier League that wasn't a striker. So that took Kane out of it, and Bamford, who was up there. So his first season, he was actually really good. Whether we liked him or not, he was. And there was talks about England, but then he never, we were always waiting for that next level with him. This year he's going to hit that next level, and he never really did for me. He kind of just died off. He became more inconsistent. Just...
His style gassed out a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah. He was one of them for me. He was a bit too safe for a winger. He weren't crazy enough for me. He didn't do his 1v1s and stuff. When he did it, it was good, but it was just very safe, which is fine. You know, he's had a Premier League career. He's done all right for himself, hasn't he? But not for me, Jack, to be honest. Not for me.
No. But if you had to book his time at Leeds, how would you?
All right.
You know, as well. How would you? I don't even know what I'm asking you to rate, but because I just think he gets a lot of stick, and it's also because he's all stuff that came out as he left and his mum and all that stuff, you know. But I trying to not be emotional about it. I was just, my point is, Lockie, when he left, I wasn't. He got the punishment that all the rest of them got, and I never really understood it. I just thought, well, at least Harrison's been here a while, got us promoted, had a decent season. We turned to shit, and then he's jumping ship. But it didn't feel, and I'll get loads of pellets for it, I still do, but it didn't feel the same as the ones that had just sort of turned up in Prem, thought, oh, this ain't going well, chuck towel in, do you know what I mean? I sort of thought Harrison, it's his last opportunity to stay in the Prem. If we'd have come down with him, we'd have probably replaced him.
Yeah.
Even if we'd gone up the year after, he'd eventually got out of our club anyway. So I think he just sort of beat us to the punch type of thing. I don't know. I thought he was just
he played with us in Prem. Was it 2 or 3 years we had him in Championship? It was 2, wasn't it?
2, I think, yeah.
2. Yeah, he came under Bielsa, didn't he? He weren't the year before, was he? No, that was But yeah, so he'd already done that. He didn't want to go back. And look, whether people agree with it or not, his first season for me was really good in the Prem. Second season wasn't. He'd already done 2 years in Championship. He thought he wanted to stay in Premier League. But would what decision would you make in that situation if you say no? There's a team that wants to buy you in Premier. What are you going to do? You're going to say no. You know what I mean? These are not Leeds fans. As a fan, you'd probably stick with Leeds, but these are not. And like you said, yeah, he did. He was part of that promotion team, big part of that promotion team. And then getting his 9th, big part of that team that got his 9th. Respect for him for that. But again, it comes out of me, Jack. Like, I never really had that connection with him as a player because he just didn't. It's like Sinisterra in a way. He came in, he did some decent bits, but he never. I don't think he did a single interview about Leeds or anything. It was just a bit like he's here for Prem, and then he's just good. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's whatever. I give him credit. I think he had 2 really good years for us, but the start and the first year weren't great, and the last year was terrible. So whatever for me, to be honest, with him.
Yeah,
I don't agree with, as usual. I don't agree with any abuse. I think it's ridiculous. But when you've got players like you said that was here literally a year, who left instantly, some of them threatened legal action to leave.
Yeah, I mean,
Harrison never did that, did he? So,
and the madness is so like players that came back. So like Aronson, who has basically been forgiven now, which I'm totally fine with. But, getting booed initially, WOBBLE, nobody cares about WOBBLE now. Do you know what I mean? It's like all the rest of them that have just gone, they get all the flat. But if you come back, it's like, oh, I hate you more. And it's like, I hate Harrison. And it's like, well, no, I mean, I forgot Christensen even played for the club.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? He's probably still robbing us somehow, somewhere. So it's like, I don't know. It's selective.
Move on from him, to be honest.
I agree with that. Yeah,
I do have sympathy for Aronson. Sorry, bloody hell. But
I do that.
And I actually do, because I agree with what he said. He did leave instantly. There was no manager at that time. There was no ownership. The ownership was in thing. We didn't sign anyone. He just thought, there's no here for me. The fans hate me. I'm going to go to Germany. And I honestly don't blame him for that. I think the thing about WOBBLE is he went on the pre-season and he actually did an interview where he said, I want to stay here. I want to fight for the captaincy and stuff like that.
It was Mr. Leeds United, wasn't he?
Yeah, Aronson already left. He'd gone early. As soon as we got relegated, he was like, right, it's not looking good here. There's no manager or anything. So I can understand that from his perspective. But went to Bundesliga, a decent team who had got into Europe, fair enough. Didn't do great there. But WOBBLE said too much and then left.
Yeah.
Not like that.
And he'd have been mint, wouldn't he, really? I know he's been injury prone, but as a centre-back in Championship, it'd have alleviated a lot of our issues, wouldn't it, sort of early on?
Great.
We'd have been able to build around it a bit. I mean, I'm actually happy how it's ended up, really. What do you reckon WOBBLE does? Because he's not played a minute, really, has he? Where's he going to...
No.
What's he going to do?
WOBBLE's one of them, similar to Robin Koch. Robin Koch he's had a ridiculous 2 seasons in Bundesliga. Really good. One of the best defenders in the Bundesliga, which is crazy. He's been really good. WOBBLE was good last year as well in the Bundesliga. Mönchengladbach, he played really well. They liked him. That's why they still want him. And then you see him in the Premier League. And this is it. So for me, I think he goes back to Germany. I think it's best to part ways. I'd want an upgrade personally. I want a bigger player, a quicker player. A bit more experience, a bit more of a leader. And
he can't stay fit, ultimately. If he can't stay fit at this level, he's definitely not going to be able to do it in Prem, is he? He's quite a big, clumbersome fella anyway, isn't he?
Yeah, I actually, when he joined in January, I actually thought he was pretty decent for the first kind of 5 or 6 weeks. I thought he was really good. He gave us something a bit different. He was calm on ball. He was quite dominant.
Yeah, he had a bit of a biting tackle.
Yeah, but once he got relegation, became a bit more of a reality, and he kind of knew he weren't going to be here next year. I think, like everyone, he kind of lost that real desire to fight. And when we go up, we're going to need every player we have needs to have that desire to fight, or we're finished. That is one of the biggest things we need to look for. We need to look for players who have that mentality, for me, to proper dig in and fight, because every point's going to be huge in it. But we ain't winning much if we go up. We ain't winning a lot. We'll stay up though, won't we, Jack?
I'm convinced of it. Yeah, what's point in not? We're not going up to come back down. And that, as silly as that sounds, we're not. It's not like the club are interested in being a yo-yo club or whatever. 49ers aren't fucking about with it. They want to they're pushing for everything we want. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Championship can't give them plans, can it? This is what I mean with the manager. If he doesn't do well in the first few games, they're going to look at this and say, right, this is our Premier League online here. How long is this going to last? You know, this manager's free, good track record. This, you know what I mean? They'll give him a chance, and I do think it's fair now. They need to give him a chance, give him everything he needs, but get a squad that, if it doesn't go well, is a squad that can still be good in the Prem, regardless of who kind of comes in. I think that's important. I hope it goes really well for Farke. I like him. I think he's mint, which gets criticism because apparently that's a weird thing to say about a manager that you like. Yeah, but what do you think about that? Do you think they'll give him a few games, or do you think they'll be quite lenient?
I think the start is. I don't think they'll mess. I think they'll have stuff lined up immediately already. I think they'll already be obviously on the look. I don't think that they'll have no lenience with him. They won't give him more time than he sort of deserves, if you know what I mean. And I don't know how much time that is, but if we start well, I think he'll probably, regardless if we fall off a bit, I think he'll end the season at Leeds, even if we sort of fall into a bit of shit. But if we get off to a good start and then maybe pick up a few results around Christmas and we're looking all right, I don't think they'll bomb him. But I think if we get 10 games and it's
get battered a few times,
and we look out of his depth, I think they won't hesitate really with it, which is crazy. But also, you know, it's about staying up, in it. So it's you know,
we won't have that leeway in the first year that. Say it's season 4, we're fighting between 6th and 12th. You kind of know you'll be all right. You can last longer with a manager, see if it works. But now it's probably 15th to 20th. There's not much leeway, is there? So I agree. It's going to be, and it's same for the players. If they're not good enough, you know, we've got to move them on and get more in, because that's, like you said, that these guys, serious people, they want to build the stadium, they want to build the infrastructure, the stadium. You know, they've got big plans for a lot of stuff, so they need Premier League football. And I think they'll be savage if someone's not doing their job, and that means we could get relegated. I don't think they'll hesitate, which is scary. But
in reality, Lockie, you know, if you're in a relegation battle nowadays, early doors, don't you? I know you can get dragged into one. That's what I'm saying. If we start really well, we could end up getting dragged into one, and I think he'd get away with it. But if we're in one, like Leicester, Southampton and Ipswich have been, 10 games in, they're going to go, no, we're in a relegation battle here. Let's get on with it. Let's move first. And I don't know whether it's the best way to go, but, I don't know. Yeah. You're taking a risk in a sense, but.
It's about the replacement, innit, if that happens. You look at when Villa had Gerrard, they were getting battered. They were blowers, weren't they?
Yeah.
And then they brought in Unai Emery, which is ridiculous. And they just went up and up. Like, if you get that next appointment right, we got Jesse in, and although we had some decent games for the most part, it was not the best replacement for the play. The way they play was completely opposite. Other than they run a lot, it's completely opposite to Marcelo Bielsa. That was never going to work, just to a certain extent. Villa got it right, and look at them now. That was all it was, mate. It was one decision after they sacked their manager. Yeah. That was it. So that is the key bit. But if Farke, I hope he doesn't. I hope he smash it, obviously. But we don't have to have this conversation. But if we do just get to that point, that next appointment is, because if you get that one wrong, and then he's been there for 2 or 3 months, and you're kind of finished, then, aren't you? You're kind of in panic mode.
Oh, it's because there were no worse than that when we were getting through managers every month either. You know, that ain't a good place to be, is it?
That worried, man.
Honestly, there were an element of me where, I was sort of, because like when we got Allardyce in, I remember my brother rang me and I was just like, well, why not at this point?
Yeah.
Just get Allardyce in. You should have got him in a bit earlier. Just get the fucking big guy in. Because we've become that club. If we'd have gone from Bielsa to Allardyce, I'd have been like, oh, there's a knee-jerk reaction here. But we're becoming the laughingstocks that were like, I'm not saying Allardyce is a laughingstock, to be fair. He's had a brilliant career, but you look to Allardyce for a certain thing when there's 5 games to go, don't you? And that's not where you want your club looking. in Allardyce's office, is it really?
Well, it's when he spoke about it, and he said when he came in, obviously after Javi Gracia, it was that one, yeah.
Yeah.
He said the players were just not fit. He said if he went in there, expect them to be fit, we can galvanise them, make us strong defensively, make us want it. As they turned up to training, they were not fit. They had no confidence. He couldn't believe how bad it was and how's it got to that point. And that's what's the saddest thing. Like the managers we were linked with when we sat Jesse Marsh, you know, obviously Corberan was there, but he said no. But then you had Iriola, look what he's doing now at Bournemouth, Arnie Slot. But I mean, like he's winning Premier League. These were the guys that they were close. And if we'd have just got rid of Jesse a few months earlier,
or not bothered with him.
Yeah, maybe then we could have got one of these guys in, because they'd always been on that list that Orta had, but he wanted Jesse, didn't he? So
why?
That was it for me. That decision won it when we got rid of Bielsa. That next appointment, that was the one. That was the one that did us, because we never really improved. He started off really well in his first full season. I'll give him that. We did. We were mint for the first 4 or 5. But after that, just off a cliff. And
unless you look at the metrics.
Yeah, the metrics, man.
The metrics.
I will say though, like for as bad as it was, we still did miss chances. Like I remember every week just being frustrated. We'd do terrible stuff like when Llorente would try a Cruyff turn at edge at box or something like that. Remember Rodrigo's pass? You used to remember that way, try to pass it up pitch and he'd give it straight to their winger other side of pitch. We were stupid. The players did stupid things as well, but everything was just gone on it at that point. It was
Rodrigo loved putting it into middle of pitch though, didn't he? I don't know whether he's been like drilled into him to like release it early, but it was like, are you looking? He'd do it like 2 or 3 times a game. I know that one that you're on about was like, what are you doing? Because he was quite deep, wasn't he? He used to normally do it like high and wide, and he'd do it, and you think, oh, it's ridiculous, but we'll get away with this one. But he did it all the time. He just put it into the centre, like, oh, that's what I've been told to do. It's like you're not delivering a ball into the box and saying like somebody attack it. You're putting it into the heart. That they're literally attacking our back 4 now. It was mental how often he did that.
Yeah, but I don't know if you agree, but I think that decision after Bielsa, that next appointment, if we'd have got that right, I genuinely think we could have been where Villa are. I genuinely do.
Well, like, I mean, I can't say his name, Ariola or whatever, because it's also a nipple, isn't it, in Ariola or something. So I don't know what it is. But however you say his name, but like Bournemouth they're not what we are they? As a club. So, you know, it's not like he'd have been, because obviously you're looking at Arne Slot and going, well, yeah, but he's at Liverpool. It's like, well, yeah, but that one potentially on the cards. We're talking a few years ago, really, aren't we? So they potentially could have got him in, really, like you say, and then pushed on. I mean, you never know. I think personally, I honestly think, and it's easy in hindsight, but I think we should have just gone with Bielsa to end the season, because I don't think Marsh made any difference. I don't think there were a manager bounce or all. I think we'd have done the same thing, survived, and then properly done it. Whereas then we sort of had to stick with Marsh, even though probably not seen much from him, really. And then it seemed like their decision. They still wanted to look like they were a structured club, rather than just being honest and being like, well, no, we panicked, sacked Bielsa, got Marsh in. Now we're sacking Marsh 5 games in and or 10 games in, but they didn't want to seem like that. They wanted to be like, no, we're very calculated and we're very organised.
But it weren't.
Yeah, and then it showed at end of season because you just chopping and changing everybody. And
but this is it, man. Like, there's so much potential for this club, isn't there? We all feel like, whatever you think about the investment, the owners, the Red Bull, for us to get up there, that's what you need now. And I just think there's so much potential. I just want to see this club in Europe. I don't care whether it's Conference League. I couldn't care less.
Take it. It's awesome.
That's where I want us to be. And if when we go up, I said when, because we're going to do it. When we go up, those decisions, where, you know, the recruitment is vital. The manager decision is vital, if that ever has to come to it. Well, it will at some point, obviously, but whenever that is, it's got to be right. If we get that right, I genuinely think we can challenge for, you know, that 8th, 9th place in maybe
we can become a top 10 team, can't we? That's not That's not a crazy ambition, because once you're out of the, it's everybody saying about the drop off, and I have said it, with the bottom 5 and stuff, it's a different league, but that works for us as well. So if you get out of the bottom 5, you're well out of it, aren't you? You're miles apart from it. Then you're miles apart from top 7, but from 15th to 7th is his own little league, and you're not anywhere near the dross. So
and that's
for that.
It's just so frustrating, isn't it? Like, I know a lot of people will say, look at the 3 that went up, how bad they are. They're not us. I don't know if that's us Leeds fans been a bit deluded, but they're not us. I think we can get better players. I think we have a better infrastructure and more plans, bigger, broader plans. I don't think, like you said, we're not a team that Ipswich bought championship players, good ones, but so when they go down, they'll keep a lot of them and they'll probably come straight back up. I don't think the 49ers have any ambition at all, as you said, mate, in doing anything like that. They want to go up. That's all they're bothered about, and staying there. So, yeah, man, let's get there. I'm excited.
Yeah, so on that, Lockie, obviously 4 games to go. I don't want to keep you too long, man. Are you all right for another 5 minutes? So,
good.
You'd be reluctant to say no while people are watching. They'd be like, no, you're doing me head in, mate. I'm off.
Nah, I'm good, mate. I've got no on, so
top man. So there's obviously 4 games to go. 7 points needed.
Yeah.
Friday, Monday. I'm quite happy that there's, by the weekend, we're 50% done already. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you think it goes in terms of guaranteed? Does it happen this weekend? Because if Sheffield lose again and we win 2 games, is that us up?
Yeah. So if they lose, so with 5 points, if they lose, we win. That'd be 8.
8, yeah.
And then we'd need one more.
Right. Regardless of what they do. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Because then there'll be 6 points left.
Do we need 7 to go up?
7 at the moment, if they win every game.
All right. So
yeah, if they lose one, we've got that cushion, haven't we?
Yeah, if they lose, we win. It's done anyway. But mate, honestly, I've been like this for ages now. I'm confident, but I'm just so, because I believe when we go up that we can get to them heights in a few years. I'm so nervous about it, because it's not one of them where we go up and I'm gonna be like, oh, we're just gonna be 18th, 19th. I genuinely think we'll be near there. We're not gonna be. I think we could. There's a potential in this club with these owners. I genuinely think there is. So I'm excited about the Prem. I really want it, because I think we can do stuff in the Prem if we can just stay up that first season. I think we can do stuff. So I'm proper nervous about this. It's not like we'll be in Prem and we can have a good year and then be all right, we're back in Championship. Nah, we can do stuff. Forest did it, Villa did it, Brighton. We can do that. I'm so nervous, mate. Honestly, it's horrible.
Is it on the Friday or the Monday? I think it's the Friday where Burnley play, then Sheffield play, and then it's us, isn't it? Yeah, which is a mental way to go as well. I don't know if that's good or bad or indifferent, really. We've just obviously got to focus. I saw in your video, Lockie, which I thought makes it's exactly my feelings on it. Like you said, like, I don't care who plays. You actually said something like, and what the reason why I find it funny is because your breakdowns are so mint and how you rate the players after and stuff. It's all really technical. And you were like, I don't care who plays. There's nothing I need to say at this point. Literally said, I've not spoke about it because there's no point. Just go and win the games. It's like. But on that, Lockie, it's because we do know there's enough data there now that we've all watched it for 2 years. That what is there left to say about this squad for the last 4 games, really? Apart from just go and win them games like you have been doing, or what do you want? What's there to talk about in that aspect?
I was sat about to record and I was thinking I'm going to do a match preview, but I genuinely sat and went, I don't care, just win it. That's all that had come up. Who do we start? I don't care. I genuinely don't. Whoever's fit, they're all good enough. There's 4 games left. Just go win it. Oxford are right, relegated. I don't care. Go win it. I don't care. CBA, Jack. Honestly, CBA. Just go win it. But it's. Sorry, what did you ask me?
My initial question was like, if you reckon it'll get done this weekend, do you think Sheffield will slip up again, or do you reckon it'll be?
I actually don't. I think they'll win.
I think they'll win.
I know Head's gone and stuff like that. But I reckon they might galvanise him a little bit. He'll get them together or something. They'll get a win. Going into the Burnley game with something to play for. That'll be a good one. That'll be a huge game.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe they'll lose 4 in a row.
I can't imagine it. They're too decent. I've said this all season about Leeds. That's why I thought we'd turn it around. So, like, we are decent. It's not like we're not crumbling. I know Sheffield have crumbled a bit, to be fair, but they'll just revert back to, like, the other team won't turn up, or do you know what I mean? It's like you're very reliant on the other teams sort of pulling it out of the bag as well. And Plymouth got away with one, really. 2-1 at last minute. It's a bit of a crazy goal, that last goal and stuff. It's a big ask for Sheffield to lose again. I think they'll struggle to beat Burnley though.
Yeah,
because they're just so hard to score against.
That's a brutal game to have at this time in season. I'm so glad that's not us. Imagine we had that coming up. Imagine we had Sheffield or Burnley coming up. Oh my God. But we haven't. They have, so we can be all right. But it's brutal, isn't it?
They're the games I love, Lockie. In the build-up turn, I'm like, yes, I get proper like, and then when the game kicks off, and I'm like, and it's not really going how I sort of hoped. Yeah. That's how I'm like, oh no, actually.
Yeah, we just need to do our thing, mate. You're right. Obviously, because I do mean analysis and all that stuff, but so many times in football where you just don't need to say, oh, just go win. People lose their head with lineup. I couldn't care less most weeks, I'll be honest. Don't bother me because they're all good enough. Well, Solomon's starting or Ramazani's starting, Nonto's starting. Cool, good. They're all good enough. Byram's at left back is fine. We're still good enough to win with Byram at left back. We've done it a lot. Have we even lost when Byram's played? I don't even think we have. So I don't care. Just go win the game, man. I'm done with this league. Get me out of it.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, man. There's no point overthinking it.
No.
And then my team talk would be pretty much that. I'd just not really say alt to them. Just like, right, let's go. Just go and win the league, you ball bags. Get out there and just, you know what I mean? Just go get it done. Do you need me to say the same thing to you that I've been saying for 2 years? Like,
literally.
You know how to win football games. Go ahead and do that.
Lads. We've lost 4. Go win. Like, you're good, Solomon. You're good, Pirro.
Just talk to them all individually.
Go win. That fullback shy, just take him on.
Yeah.
It's so easy, man.
Yeah. I agree. I'd talk to them all. I'd bring them all into office individually. Yeah. I'd be like, right, you do know you're really good, mate, don't you? And you've been so good for me for all year. You've been good.
Every one of them, yeah.
Yeah. And then when they what did he say to you? Like, and he's just read the same thing out to each and every one of us here. He said same thing. I thought when he said to me, beat your winger, I thought, I'm playing centre back at weekend. You're just reading a script.
That's it. That's what I do. You're decent. Just, please don't do that thing where you turn up, lads, and don't do out. All right, don't be little fannies. Just turn up.
Yeah,
just go beat him, please.
Yeah,
get us in change room, Jack. We'll tell him.
And
go win, lads.
And then a party after. There's a party to be had, isn't there? Genuinely though, this is the time of our lives. We won't be doing this again. As you say, we're going to get out of it, and then we're staying in Prem. So it's like,
that's that party, innit? That in Square or wherever it's going to be.
Yeah.
When we go up, that moment is going to be unbelievable with everyone here celebrating without COVID. Man, just do it. Like, do that for us. You're on all this money, so do it for us, poor lot. Just give us a party, mate. Just give us a party. Give us something.
I agree. But yeah, Lockie. Have you got any upcoming videos? Somebody put earlier, I put it on the thing. Will you be doing like stuff? I mean, I'm sure you will anyway, but if and when we go up, you'll be doing your like positional, because they're mint them videos, Lockie, where you scout players, don't you, and for certain positions and potential signings and people that you'd get and people that I enjoyed the one you did, the number 10 one, where people that are probably just out of his reach, but like it'd be an unbelievable signing. It would good.
Yeah, I've already got every player on there, mate. I'm ready for it. Just depends what league we're in now. Like you said earlier at the start with recruitment bit, I've got my championship players as well, which is I don't want to go anywhere near, but I've been watching some stuff and there's some great names on that Premier League list, man.
I can imagine. I'm buzzing to see it. To be fair, 'cause it is insightful. it's just interesting to see like where where's been looked at and like how you go about it. 'Cause it is mint, they are mint videos. I'd be up for seeing the championship one, Lockie, on the bit, even though we're out of it. I'd be up for saying this is what I was sort of thinking.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I want to look at them names. But once we're in Prem, I don't care about them lot. They're gone now.
Yeah.
I could send you names or something.
Yeah, it'd just be interesting to see where would have potentially led.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In hindsight,
need them off. Honestly, there's some players that I've wanted at Leeds for years, and now I might have a chance if we get up. Igor Paixão is one I think I mentioned before. Igor Paixão at Feyenoord. He's a Brazilian winger, mate. I'm telling you.
Mark the name, boys. Mark the name.
Let's just get him at Leeds.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. No doubt about it, unless we don't do all. But as long as we get something done quite early.
Yeah, we won't. 3 months. Yeah. No, sorry. 3 weeks. No, what's going to happen? We're all going to be losing our rates again.
I mean, I don't. We're gonna have to put a lead on Joe or something. I think if we're not fucking we haven't brought someone in instantly, it's gonna be like
angry thumbnail face. I'll be back with 49ers thinking.
Yeah.
We're only in July, Joe. We're only in June, mate.
I know. And he put shits at me because I feel it. I'm there with him. I'm like, I know what you're getting at, Joe, but just hold it out. Just hold out another week, and then I mean, in January, especially when Farker started making comments quite late on about 10, I were really like, I remember going on his, and I was like, I think he's going to do something, Joe. I think they're going to bring someone in.
Yeah.
And then when they didn't, I thought I've just wound him up even more here. I've wound him up by accident. I tried to tell him the truth. I've ended up accidentally lying, and now he's even worse than he was a week ago. But yeah, it is fun. It's exciting watching pre-season, isn't it, as well, when they're in.
I love it.
Yeah, when you're getting them in, you're like, I'll watch
young lads as well. Are playing well. Harry Gray's playing, scoring a few goals, and we're going, is Harry Gray any good? Yeah, I love it. I love pre-season, mate. It's mint. But we're playing Man United, aren't we, in pre-season?
I know, yeah. My mate were on about going to that, yeah. I'm like, I can't even get him some at home games. I'm like, what, you want to go to Sweden to watch? Like, we're going to be playing Man United at a professional level. Do you know what I mean? Why would I go travel there? I understand why people do it, but my mate just randomly like, we're off to Sweden. Like, no, man, I'm not doing that. No.
Wait a few weeks, lad.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Total waste of my money, that. But and then I think they're on that. Oh, kits, man.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Prem kits.
Yeah, sponsorships and stuff, and see who. Although are they in? Oh no, it'll be Red Bull, won't it? I would imagine.
Yeah, Red Bull.
How long? Do you know how long they're?
I don't know actually.
Because I know they've got a stake in it, haven't they? So it might just be until they don't. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I think it'll be on until they don't. Yeah. But hey, look. Though, when we're in Prem, Adidas will take us more serious, so we'll get more templates. So we might get like some proper nice gear as well.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's Adidas is my favourite as well, to be honest.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I do like the kit.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's iconic, isn't it? It reminds me of AC Milan and stuff back in the day. It's just like I used to love that kit.
Yeah, AC Milan, Nervy times, Jack. This is what we could have.
Yeah. It's on the precipice. It is. It's on the horizon.
Yeah. Honestly, mate, this season is stressing me out. I don't know why, because we're really good. But it's just stressing me out so much. Anyway, I'll stop blabbering on.
Well, no, it's unbelievably stressful. That's why it didn't have to be as well. It felt like at one point we were going to coast it, and then I think it's been over-egged a little bit. I said on Joe's the other day, didn't I? But the other teams are decent. We only play them twice as selves. There's only a certain amount of points you can nick off them. It's not our fault that they're also beating everybody else. Do you know what I mean? That's what's made it competitive. It's not that we're not significantly better, because we're significantly better than 21 teams. But it's just there's two other teams in there that also are better than 20 other teams, 21. Do you know what I mean? So it's that. Yeah. That's just how the league goes, isn't it? It is. Do you think whoever finishes third will go up?
Yeah, I do.
I think Sheffield will have enough to do it if they're third.
Like, you look at Coventry, and just how easy we beat them. They were in a good form. They were in the middle of their good form as well, and we battered them, didn't we? They'll be up there. You got Bristol City, a decent team, but again, like
Well,
Sunderland are
Bristol
decent,
make
but
it, in
they've
it now.
fallen off. I know it's tight.
Yeah, it is tight.
It's really close. It probably would be a great thing, but I'm just not interested in it because of us. Yeah, you've got Middlesbrough 3 points, Millwall 3 points off it. There we go.
Imagine Middlesbrough getting in there.
Imagine Millwall getting in there.
Oh, sorry, I meant Millwall. Yeah, I didn't mean Middlesbrough.
Yeah, be crazy, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's tight. Yeah, obviously, Sunderland will be in there. I think Bristol City might be as well.
Yeah, I thought Bristol City had dropped off a bit, but they're banging there, really, aren't they?
Yeah, it's for sixth, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
I guess Bristol are still in it as well. Only a point between 5th and 6th.
Yeah. Coventry's goal difference is a bit whack though, as well, isn't it? So if West Brom,
it's tight, that, isn't it? It's alright, don't fight that. Shame I just don't care about it because
that's why I've not. That's why Bristol City have like snuck back in, and I'm like, because I thought Coventry had dropped out of it at one point, but I've just not been.
Yeah.
I've been that like just looking at these top 3 numbers just for past sort of 3 weeks.
I've hardly watched any. I usually watch loads of Premier League when it's on, obviously, when it's on TV, on Sky and that. I've watched about 3 games this season.
I've barely watched any.
I can't do it. I just care about Leeds. Obviously, with work, I've got to watch like lower league foot. It's draining. So I want it to finish. I want June to be here. Sun's out, preparing for a charity game. Leeds are at Prem, looking at we're just linked with all these European players. Happy days. or it could be June. You know, who's it's just gone. All our good players have just left us. Even Perot's gone. We're linked with, God knows, Tom Cannon.
I know. Yeah, all names come back out.
It's not going to happen, Jack. It's not going to happen.
All names come back out that I was like, oh, are you really bothered for this? That's why I get a bit like, I'm like, oh, it's not. It doesn't. It's like, yeah, he'll be all right. It might, and then Peru might end up being better than him, and he'll sit on the bench, and it's like, all right, it's like it's so like, just go up.
We've got to do this for 46 more games.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
no, thank you.
I can't do it all again. I don't think.
Nah, we'll be good. We'll be good.
Yeah. Nice one, Lockie. Yeah, have you got all that you want to shout out? Obviously, your channel's called LockyLeeds, so everybody go check it out.
Just video I did about just the recruitment stuff this afternoon, mate.
Yeah, it's mint video. I do suggest.
Cheers, mate. It was going to be a match preview, but I just sat there and went, okay. So yeah, there's that. I'll do one after game as well. I'll do usual stuff, but yeah, just that one if people don't mind watching.
Yeah, man. Nice one. Yeah, so everybody go check out LockyLeeds. I'm sure everybody does anyway, Lockie, that's on the channel, but it's worth, saying go watch it. It's worth watching. But yeah, take it easy, everybody. I'll go live in about 5 or 10 minutes or so and just chat a bit of shit and see the night off. But yeah, take it easy, everybody. See you in a bit.
Bye.
Boom.